y'all ladies gonna have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen.
Really?
Y'all heard the man, ladies. Some of us have to settle. Some of y'all have to settle because there's not enough men out there.
Listen, some of y'all ladies gonna have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen, everybody can't have a perfect man out here. It ain't even enough of us around, like, let's be honest. So at the end of the day, we can go ahead and put that 50-50 conversation to rest, because every woman ain't gonna get 80-20, 100-0, whatever y'all thinking is gonna be 60-40. Some of y'all gonna have to go 50-50, and shit, y'all might gotta go 60-40 on your end with the man, just to be happy at the end of the day. Like, let's be realistic. Come on now. Somebody gonna have to settle, man. That's all I'm saying. All the straight men that's left in the world, a lot of them is in jail. A lot of them married. What do that leave left? Everybody can't have they cake and eat it too. Like, you can't have the best of the best. Sometimes you gotta just go for what you got and be happy and be grateful. Because you can have nothing at the end of the day and be miserable. Come on now. J. Cole said, love yours. I gotta take this in consideration.
I just saw the video of that guy saying that, ladies, you need to settle because there's not a perfect man for everybody out there. Is like the straight agenda to get like pretty girls to date ugly boys, because it's like that's the case. I don't know, maybe like 90% of the straight relationships I've seen. I like there's always, maybe I just have more respect for women than I do for men, but like they always are paired with like this jackass dude, even if he's like this, oh my god, he's so hot, he's always like an idiot. Like, key example is Taylor and Travis. Like, she's literally the most special person in the like writing world. I guess she can like really tear your ass up, but she's with Travis Kelce, who like doesn't know that orange is not just a color but also a fruit. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then a lot of straight people also want to replicate that too. So I think that women also lean into that because they're like, I want a golden retriever, but like, you want a boy who is like not on your level. Like, you should want to feel challenged by your partner, but not like in a negative way. But I don't know, like, have somebody who's on your level. Like, be that girl, you know. Don't settle for these weird men because it seems like that's their agenda. I think they're trying to get you.
Some of y'all ladies gonna have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen, everybody can't have a perfect man out here.
Let me tell you why what he said is actually a good thing. The myths surrounding relationships are evolving, and as they evolve, they get closer and closer to the truth. Remember back in the day when men said that if you had a bad man or you suffered in relationships, it was your own fault? I mean, they still say that, but remember when they said all you had to do to have a good man was to choose better? Now they're getting so desperate, they're telling you more of the truth, which is that good men are in limited supply, but they still want access to your labor. So he's laying it out. Oh, some of y'all are going to have to pay for the privilege of having a dusty man in your life. You might have to go 60-40 on your end. And let's stop fucking lying. What they mean is you're going to have to pay 100% of everything, and while he lays up under you and gets a soft life. But why do relationship myths evolve to start with? Because we have successfully disproved the old one. For my black ladies, it's like interracial dating. Back in the day, what did black men always tell you? Oh, white men don't want you. They're not interested in you at all. They think you're this, that, and the third. All of these high-profile women dating and marrying out prove that to be a lie. So the myth started evolving. It went from, well, they don't want you, to they only want the highest of the high-class black women. They only want a certain type of aesthetic. They only want this and they only want that. And every time one myth is disproved, another one pops up to take its place. But they have to fold some truth in to strengthen their lie. So we get closer and closer to knowing the reality behind their actual thoughts. And this man just spilled all the beans. Check it out.
Everybody can't have they cake and eat it too. Like, you can't have the best of the best. Sometimes you got to just go for what you got and be happy and be grateful. Because you can have nothing at the end of the day and be miserable.
Translation there, if you don't settle, he can't have his cake and eat it too. If you don't take what's available, then he's not going to be able to live his soft life. Because who's doing all the settling in this equation? He's not going to men and saying, well, you should settle for less than your, top aesthetic type. Maybe you won't get the IG baddie. Maybe you should get with a woman who's not your physical type. Maybe you should be providing more. Maybe you should do half the chores or more than half the chores. They're not telling men to go 60-40 on the chores if they want access to women. Instead, he's trying to manipulate you. Obviously, he has failed miserably and is actually just embarrassing himself. But this is part of a new wave of content that we've been seeing for like the last 6-ish months. Men are enfolding women's talking points into their pleas and demands, because all the stuff he was just saying, oh, well, there aren't enough straight men to go around. You know, a lot of them are married and a lot of them are in jail. Black women have been saying that for centuries. And the solution was always, well, you should try harder. Or if they really had the razzle dazzle, well, what about polyamory? You can't even take care of one household. You can't even emotionally connect with one woman. And now you're supposed to have multiples? But be not deceived. God is not mocked. Nobody wants you all, and you're going to die alone. Like and follow for more.
For every woman that is not willing to settle, there's 9 women that will. And half y'all part of the 9 women and you don't even know it. So dudes be like, yeah, I don't have to have my stuff in order because the proof is in the pudding. I can be half of a man and still get a full woman. I can be half committed and still get the full benefits from a woman. I can barely be a boyfriend and she'll be a full wife. What about you that has convinced you that the best you can do is a man's potential? Every time in my comment section, I talk about ready, prepared men, waiting, not tolerating bullshit. There's always 3 or 4 women, 5 women, 6 women in my comment section talking about, but everybody leaves love. I mean, so you gotta be stable in order to have a relationship. I mean, what if they going through things? It's always a woman in the comment section, and it's those dusty ass ladies that's giving y'all a hard rep. You know why? Because it's always a woman willing to accept bullshit. So now men expect you to accept bullshit.
Listen, some of y'all ladies gonna have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen.
Really? Us ladies have to settle? I don't think so. And I'm not going to settle, because I know that God has got the right man out here for me that is going to treat me right and love me the way I need to be loved. Some of these men, and I'm not saying all men, there are some good men out there, but some of these men that put these videos out have to realize that that is really making themselves look bad, saying that they are not good enough to take care of a woman the way she is supposed to be taken care of. I mean, come on. Pay attention to what you're putting out for people to see. Women are of value, and men are of value. We are all of value. So step up to the plate and love your woman or man the way they are supposed to be loved. Put God first, and you will see things coming into fruition the way that they are supposed to be between a man and a woman.
Listen, some of y'all ladies gonna have to settle.
Hey cousins, excuse me. I debated if I was going to jump in on this conversation. That creator was saying that some of us women are going to have to settle. The answer is no, we don't. The answer is no, we don't. What I saw and what I heard specifically from that video was a transference of fear. See, a transference of fear is when person A is afraid of something and doesn't necessarily want to face that fear or get honest with themselves about that fear. So instead of doing that, they try and transfer it onto person B in hopes of person B responding emotionally, physically, mentally. And then person B absorbing that fear. Women aren't doing that any longer. Particularly if you've listened and watched your grandmothers. In some cases, your mothers, your aunties. You've watched how women have had to endure quietly at the hands of their husbands. Their husbands get to do whatever they want, act however they want, and the wife or the mother stays home and runs the house and keeps quiet and endures quietly. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, those same aunties, grandmothers, and mothers are whispering in their daughters, their nieces, and their granddaughters' ears. Oh, excuse me again. Excuse me again. They're telling their nieces, daughters, granddaughters, etc., go live your life. Follow your dreams and goals. Travel. Have money in the bank. Buy your own house. Buy your own car. Evolve. Get your education. Do those things that I was not able to do. Form relationships. Be healthy. And what did women, particularly black women, start to do? Follow that advice. And now women are in a place of contentment. Let me say it again. Black women, women period, are becoming and standing in their place of contentment. Most men, some men, only define themselves by physical love and money, whereas women have a multitude of definitions. So if you only have two definitions against my multitude of definitions as to what happiness, contentment, and security is, then we really can't even be on the same playing field. We're not on the same playing field. Just like, case in point, that other creator who was trying to drag Candace Owens about what she said, I think it was on the morning show, morning club, breakfast club, whatever it's called. Anyway, when she was like, yeah, no, I married my husband because he was intellectually stimulating. And instead of that creator examining what she was saying, he automatically went into his feelings and went on the attack, not realizing that this is a woman. Whether you like Candace or you hate Candace or you in the middle with her, this is a woman who has evolved. This is a woman who has a strong personality and is opinionated and is educated. This is a woman who has traveled the world. This is the woman who started her own career. And then this same creator who was trying to drag Candace said, oh, well, she married someone who would help her to get to the next level. But that's what happens when you have two equally matched people and you're trying to achieve the next goal. Your partner helps you and you help your partner. So no, darling, women do not have to settle. Because we've taken stock and interest in our own selves. We have evolved. We're continuously growing and changing. You want that I'm the head of the household, I'm the man. And you want us to return to the kitchen and be quiet and co-sign your bullshit and raise these babies. And women don't have a desire to do that. We're not saying some women aren't saying, no, I want to be a wife, I want to be a mother. But what do you bring to the table? If I'm sitting here with 2 doctorates and I've traveled all over the world, what makes you think I want a Bruquan from the projects who can't even pass a GED? Make it make sense. We can't hold a conversation. I say, get your passport. I want to go to passport. Okay. So no, women do not have to settle. You need to evolve. That's right, Mama. That was my husky putting her 2 cents in. I know. You need to evolve. We don't need to settle.
Listen, some of y'all ladies gonna have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen.
What? Okay. So you're telling women to settle for shitty men. And then when these women later leave these shitty men and turn around and say they are shitty men, you're going to put the blame on the woman saying, hey, you picked him. You should have known in the beginning he was a shitty man. So you're pointing women in the direction of shitty men so they can break up with those shitty men, and you can blame them for telling them to date those shitty men, knowing that that woman should have known they were shitty men. Oh, there's a lot of shitties in that statement.
That now they're forcing you to settle. You heard him? So unless you want to be alone and miserable, like he said, you need to settle for a man who's going to bring little to nothing to the relationship, or you have to settle for 50-50. Let me tell you a true crazy story. So I was talking to my mother yesterday, and my mother married my father in Haiti. They met in Haiti and got married, but my father used to travel back and forth. And let me tell you, my father was married 3 times to 3 different women at 3 different times. My mother was the last one that he married, right? He had or have 16 kids. My father took care of all 16 kids, and all of his wives, all of them, my mother included, that was weird, my mother included, plus the other 2 that he was married to prior, on top of all his children. He took care of everybody, and none of the women had to go to work or do anything, and all of us were in private school in Haiti being taken care of by my father. So if, for me, I don't believe a man should date or even get pussy if you cannot afford it. Men will tell you that you are a gold digger if you are expecting more out of a relationship, out of a man, because it is literally your job as a man to come fully a man. You cannot tell me in the United States, in this country, or wherever you are watching, where you are, according to the world, cannot be more poor than Haiti, right? Because according to the rest of the world, Haiti is the poorest country, although it's not, if you learn the history of Haiti. But you cannot tell me someone who lived in Haiti with 3 wives and 16 kids can take care of everybody without any of the women in the family lifting a finger. He can take care of everybody, and then brought us all here in the United States. Because when he came here, he got into a car accident and became paralyzed. While he was paralyzed from the neck down, he brought us all here in the United States with no problem, because he was able to save enough money to bring them. And let me tell you why he was able to have 3 different women married 3 times, because he could afford it. In Haiti, if you cannot afford a wife, you don't have one. You're not allowed to have a wife. Well, you can. Only the person who don't respect themselves and who don't see better for their future children, who will accept you with bare minimum. But you actually have to have in order to have a wife. And I believe that's how it is in Africa too. And that is the reason why they have polygamy, because the men can afford to have 3-4 wives. But it's only here that I see that, you know what, I don't necessarily just blame the men, but I blame the women who basically give them free stuff, give them a place to stay, give them, you know, a hot, warm meal to eat, do their laundry, and accept nothing in return except for a man who brings nothing to the table. Men are too soft nowadays. You need to get up from the video game and go work, so you can take care of your family. You should not be able to kiss a woman if you cannot provide for her, if you cannot do for her. You should not even receive a kiss on the cheek or even a hug from a woman.